Hello, beautiful soul. I want you to know that whatever brought you here today, whatever weight you're carrying in your heart, you are so welcome in this space. There's something so brave about reaching out when life feels heavy, about seeking comfort and guidance when the world seems too much to bear. You've taken a step toward healing simply by being here, and that matters more than you might realize. Right now, in this very moment, you don't have to pretend that everything is fine. You don't have to put on a brave face or convince anyone, including yourself, that you should be stronger than you feel. The truth is, some days are just hard. Some days feel like walking through thick mud where every step takes enormous effort and the path ahead seems unclear. Some days, even the simplest tasks feel overwhelming, and that's perfectly okay. Your feelings are valid, every single one of them. Whether you're dealing with loss, disappointment, fear, loneliness, or simply the accumulated stress of daily life, your experience matters. There's no shame in struggling, no weakness in feeling overwhelmed. Life has a way of testing our resilience, sometimes gently and sometimes with the force of a storm. What you're experiencing right now doesn't define your worth or predict your future. It's simply where you are in this moment, and this moment will pass. I've learned through my own journey and through connecting with countless beautiful souls like yourself that we often judge ourselves most harshly during our most vulnerable times. We tell ourselves we should be handling things better, moving faster, feeling different. But healing doesn't follow a timeline, and growth doesn't happen in a straight line. Your process is uniquely yours, and it's unfolding exactly as it needs to. Sometimes we feel like we're the only ones struggling while everyone else seems to have life figured out. The truth is, every person on this planet has hard days. Every soul has moments of doubt, fear, and uncertainty. What makes you special isn't the absence of struggle, but your willingness to keep going despite it. Your courage to seek support, to look for ways to feel better, to believe that things can improve. That's the light within you that no difficult day can extinguish. Take a moment to breathe with me. Feel your body in this space. Notice the support beneath you, and know that you're safe here. You don't have to carry everything alone. There's wisdom in recognizing when we need comfort, when we need to slow down, when we need to treat ourselves with extra gentleness. This recognition isn't giving up, it's an act of self-love. Your heart knows how to heal, your spirit knows how to find its way back to peace. Sometimes we just need to clear away the noise, the self-judgment, and the pressure we put on ourselves to be somewhere other than where we are. You have everything you need within you to navigate this difficult time. We're going to explore together how to access that inner strength and wisdom. Life has seasons, just like nature. There are times of growth and abundance, and there are times of rest and renewal. Hard days often signal that we're in a season of change, even when we can't see it yet. Something within you is shifting, preparing for new growth, even if it doesn't feel that way right now. Trust that this difficult time is serving a purpose in your life's journey, even if that purpose isn't clear yet. What makes some days feel harder than others? It's a question worth exploring because understanding the nature of difficult days can help us navigate them with more grace and less resistance. Hard days aren't random punishments or signs that we're doing something wrong. They're natural responses to the complexity of being human in an ever-changing world. Sometimes hard days arise from external circumstances, challenges at work, relationship conflicts, financial stress, health concerns, or unexpected changes in our lives. These situations trigger our natural stress response, and our bodies and minds work overtime to process and adapt. It's like our internal systems are running at full capacity, trying to make sense of new information and find stability in uncertain times. Other times, hard days seem to appear without any obvious external trigger. We wake up feeling heavy, anxious, or sad without a clear reason. This often puzzles us because we expect our emotions to have logical explanations, but our emotional landscape is influenced by so many factors: hormonal changes, past experiences surfacing for healing, accumulated stress finally demanding attention, or simply the natural ebb and flow of our energy cycles. Our modern world often expects us to maintain a constant state of productivity and positivity, but this expectation goes against our natural rhythms. Just as the ocean has high and low tides, our emotional and energetic states naturally fluctuate. Trying to force ourselves to feel up all the time creates additional stress and makes the natural low periods feel like failures rather than normal parts of life. Sometimes hard days are our psyche's way of asking us to slow down and pay attention. When we've been moving too fast, ignoring our needs, or avoiding difficult emotions, our system eventually demands a pause. What feels like a hard day might actually be a necessary rest period, a time for our minds and hearts to process and integrate recent experiences. The seasons of our lives also influence how we experience individual days. During times of major life transitions, starting or ending relationships, changing careers, moving to new places, dealing with illness, or facing loss, our emotional sensitivity is naturally heightened. Days that might feel manageable during stable periods can feel overwhelming when we're already stretched thin by life changes. Our past experiences shape how we interpret and respond to current challenges. If we've faced trauma, disappointment, or abandonment before, current difficulties can activate old wounds and make present situations feel more threatening than they actually are. This isn't weakness, it's how our protective systems work to keep us safe. Understanding this can help us respond to hard days with more compassion for ourselves. Physical factors play a huge role in how we experience our days emotionally. Poor sleep, inadequate nutrition, lack of movement, or fighting off illness all affect our emotional resilience. Sometimes what feels like an emotional crisis is actually our body asking for basic care and attention. Learning to check in with our physical needs during hard days can provide simple but powerful relief. The people around us and the environments we spend time in also influence our emotional state. Negative news, toxic relationships, cluttered spaces, or simply being around others' stress can all contribute to feeling overwhelmed. We're more sensitive to these influences than we often realize, and hard days sometimes signal that we need to examine and possibly adjust our surroundings. Understanding that hard days have multiple potential causes helps us approach them with curiosity rather than judgment. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" we can ask, "What might I need right now?" This shift in perspective opens up possibilities for self-care and healing rather than self-criticism and resistance. Hard days also serve important functions in our personal growth. They often precede breakthrough moments, forcing us to develop new coping skills, discover inner strength we didn't know we had, or make necessary changes in our lives. Many people report that their most difficult periods ultimately led to their greatest growth and most meaningful life changes. The intensity of hard days can also deepen our capacity for compassion and empathy. When we've navigated our own struggles, we naturally become more understanding and supportive of others who are suffering. Our difficult experiences often become sources of wisdom and connection with fellow travelers on this journey of life. When we're in the middle of a hard day, our thinking often becomes our biggest challenge. The stories we tell ourselves about what's happening can either help us navigate the difficulty with grace or make everything feel much worse than it actually is. Most of us have an internal narrator that becomes particularly active during stressful times. And unfortunately, this narrator isn't always kind or helpful. During difficult moments, our minds often default to worst-case scenario thinking. One challenge becomes evidence that everything is falling apart. A single criticism becomes proof that we're failures. A moment of sadness becomes a sign that we'll never be happy again. This tendency to catastrophize is actually a survival mechanism. Our brains are wired to anticipate danger and prepare for threats. But in modern life, this protective mechanism often creates more suffering than it prevents. The stories we tell ourselves during hard days usually fall into predictable patterns. We might tell ourselves that we should be stronger, that other people handle things better, that this situation proves we're not capable or worthy. We might convince ourselves that feeling bad means something is fundamentally wrong with us, or that needing help is a sign of weakness. These narratives feel true when we're struggling, but they're often just old programming from childhood, past experiences, or societal messages we've internalized. One of the most damaging stories we tell ourselves is that hard days mean we're moving backward or failing in some way. We measure our progress by how good we feel day to day, and when we have a difficult day after several good ones, we assume we've lost all our progress. This creates a cycle where hard days become even harder because we're not just dealing with the original difficulty, we're also fighting against our interpretation that having a hard day means something terrible about us. Another common story is that we're alone in our struggles. When we're hurting, it's easy to believe that everyone else has life figured out while we're the only ones who can't seem to get it together. Social media and our tendency to share only our best moments publicly reinforce this illusion. The truth is that struggle is universal, but we rarely see others' behind-the-scenes difficulties. We often tell ourselves stories about time during hard days, too. We convince ourselves that we should be over certain things by now, that healing should happen faster, that we're taking too long to feel better. These time-based stories add urgency and pressure to our natural healing process, making everything feel more intense and overwhelming. The story that we have no control over our circumstances is another common narrative during difficult times. While it's true that we can't control everything that happens to us, we always have some degree of choice in how we respond. When we believe we're completely powerless, we feel helpless and victimized. Recognizing even small areas where we do have influence can begin to shift our experience. Sometimes we tell ourselves that feeling good again would be betraying someone we've lost, or that we don't deserve happiness because of past mistakes. These stories keep us stuck in cycles of suffering that don't actually honor our loved ones or serve any constructive purpose. True healing often involves questioning these deeply held beliefs about what we owe to our pain. Our internal stories also tend to make temporary states feel permanent. I feel terrible becomes I am a terrible person. This is difficult becomes life is always difficult. I'm having trouble right now becomes I always struggle with everything. These linguistic shifts might seem small, but they dramatically change how we experience our circumstances. The beautiful truth is that we have much more power over our internal narratives than we realize. We can learn to notice when our thinking is making things worse and gently redirect our mental energy toward more helpful perspectives. This doesn't mean forcing false positivity or denying real difficulties. It means choosing thoughts that support our healing rather than thoughts that increase our suffering. Starting to question our automatic thoughts during hard days is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, we can see that many of our fears and judgments aren't actually facts. They're just thoughts, and thoughts can be changed. We can begin to separate what's actually happening from our interpretation of what's happening, and this separation creates space for new possibilities to emerge. When we experience emotional difficulty, our bodies become wise messengers, offering us information about what we need and how we can find relief. Yet so often during hard days, we disconnect from our physical selves, living entirely in our worried minds while our bodies carry the weight of our struggles. Learning to listen to your body during difficult times isn't just helpful, it's essential for healing and finding your way back to peace. Your body holds emotions in ways that your mind sometimes cannot fully understand or express. When sadness sits heavy in your chest, when anxiety creates tightness in your stomach, when stress manifests as tension across your shoulders, these aren't just random physical sensations. They're your body's way of processing and communicating what you're experiencing emotionally. Instead of seeing these physical manifestations as problems to be ignored or pushed through, we can learn to view them as valuable information about our inner state. During hard days, many people notice that their breathing becomes shallow and restricted. This happens because when we're stressed or upset, our nervous system shifts into protective mode, preparing our body to deal with perceived threats. Our breath moves up into our chest instead of flowing deeply into our belly, and this shallow breathing actually reinforces feelings of anxiety and disconnection. Simply becoming aware of how you're breathing during difficult moments can be the first step toward feeling more grounded and calm. The way we hold our bodies during emotional stress often mirrors our internal state. We might find ourselves hunching our shoulders as if protecting our heart, clenching our jaw as if holding back words we're afraid to speak, or curling inward as if making ourselves smaller will somehow make the pain less noticeable. These protective postures served us well at some point, but maintaining them creates additional physical tension that can make emotional difficulties feel even more overwhelming. Your body also stores memories and emotions from past experiences, sometimes triggering physical responses that seem disproportionate to current circumstances. A particular scent, sound, or physical sensation might activate old memories stored in your nervous system, causing your body to react as if past traumas are happening again. This isn't your body betraying you. It's your system trying to protect you based on previous experiences. Understanding this can help you respond to these moments with compassion rather than confusion or self-judgment. Sleep patterns often change dramatically during emotionally challenging times. Some people find themselves sleeping much more than usual, as if their body is demanding extra rest to process difficult emotions. Others experience insomnia, lying awake with racing thoughts or waking frequently throughout the night. Both responses are normal ways your system attempts to cope with stress. Your body might be trying to tell you that it needs extra rest and recovery time, or it might be signaling that certain emotions or thoughts need attention before peaceful sleep can return. Changes in appetite and digestion frequently accompany emotional difficulties. Some people lose interest in food entirely when they're struggling, while others find themselves eating much more than usual or craving specific types of foods. Your digestive system is closely connected to your emotional state. There's actually a network of neurons in your gut that communicates directly with your brain. Paying attention to these changes without judgment can provide insight into what your body needs for support during hard times. Physical energy levels fluctuate significantly during periods of emotional challenge. You might feel exhausted even after adequate rest, or conversely, you might feel restless and unable to settle down despite being tired. Your body uses enormous amounts of energy to process difficult emotions, leaving less available for daily activities. This isn't laziness or weakness. It's your system allocating resources where they're most needed for healing and adaptation. Many people notice increased sensitivity to their physical environment during hard days. Bright lights might feel harsh, normal sounds might seem too loud, or usually comfortable clothing might feel irritating against their skin. This heightened sensitivity occurs because emotional stress affects how your nervous system processes sensory information. Your body is essentially asking for gentler, more soothing environmental conditions to support your healing process. Tension and pain often appear in specific areas of the body during emotional difficulty. Headaches, backaches, neck pain, and general muscle tension are common physical expressions of emotional stress. Rather than simply medicating these symptoms away, consider what your body might be trying to communicate. Are you carrying too much responsibility on your shoulders? Are you thinking too hard about problems that have no immediate solutions? Is your heart feeling heavy with grief or worry? Your body's natural healing mechanisms become more active during challenging times, even when you don't consciously notice it. You might find yourself sighing more frequently. This is your body's way of releasing tension and regulating your nervous system. Tears, when they come, serve important biological functions, releasing stress hormones and helping to restore emotional balance. Even restlessness and fidgeting can be your body's attempts to discharge excess nervous energy. Learning to tune into your body's wisdom during hard days means checking in with yourself regularly throughout the day. Notice where you feel tension, how your breathing is flowing, what your energy levels are telling you. This awareness allows you to respond to your body's needs before stress accumulates to overwhelming levels. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is simply acknowledge what your body is experiencing and offer it comfort. When hard days hit, having simple, gentle tools for immediate comfort can make an enormous difference in how you navigate the difficulty. These aren't complex techniques that require special training or perfect conditions. They're accessible practices you can use anywhere, anytime you need a moment of relief and grounding. The breath is always available to you as a source of comfort and stability. When everything feels chaotic, your breath remains constant and reliable. One of the simplest yet most powerful tools is conscious breathing. Place one hand on your chest and one on your belly, and breathe in a way that gently expands your lower hand while keeping your upper hand relatively still. This signals to your nervous system that you're safe and helps shift your body out of stress mode. Even just 3 or 4 conscious breaths can begin to create a sense of calm and spaciousness around whatever you're experiencing. Creating physical comfort for yourself during hard times isn't selfish, it's necessary. Your body needs extra tenderness when your emotions are raw. This might mean wrapping yourself in a soft blanket, taking a warm bath, or simply changing into clothes that feel gentle against your skin. Sometimes the simple act of making your physical environment more comforting can help your emotional state begin to shift toward greater ease. Gentle movement can be incredibly soothing during difficult times, even when you don't feel like being active. This doesn't mean forcing yourself through an intense workout, but rather offering your body the kind of movement that feels nurturing. Stretching your arms overhead and breathing deeply, rolling your shoulders to release tension, or even just wiggling your fingers and toes can help energy begin to flow more freely through your system. Sound can be a powerful source of immediate comfort. This might mean listening to music that soothes your soul, spending time in nature where you can hear birds or flowing water, or even making sounds yourself, humming, singing, or simply sighing deeply. Your voice is a tool for self-comfort that you carry with you always. Sometimes making sound helps release emotions that feel stuck in your body. Touch is one of our most basic needs for comfort and connection. During hard days, you can offer yourself nurturing touch by gently massaging your temples, placing your hands over your heart, or giving yourself a brief shoulder rub. Self-touch signals to your nervous system that you're cared for and safe. It's a way of mothering yourself when you need extra comfort. Grounding techniques help you reconnect with the present moment when your mind is spinning with worries about the future or regrets about the past. Feel your feet on the floor. Notice 5 things you can see in your immediate environment. Listen for different sounds around you, or focus on the temperature of the air on your skin. These practices anchor you in the here and now, where you have more power and resources than your worried mind might believe. Sometimes the most comforting thing you can do is give yourself permission to feel whatever you're feeling without trying to change it immediately. Create a safe space where you can experience your emotions fully. This might mean going somewhere private where you can cry if you need to, or simply sitting quietly and acknowledging what's present in your heart. Fighting against difficult emotions often makes them stronger and more persistent. Water has natural soothing properties that can provide immediate relief during hard times. Drinking a glass of cool water mindfully, washing your hands and really feeling the water's temperature and movement, or splashing cool water on your face can help reset your nervous system. If possible, spending time near natural water sources like lakes, rivers, or the ocean can be deeply restorative. Creating rituals of comfort gives you concrete actions to take when you're feeling overwhelmed and don't know what to do with yourself. This might be making a cup of tea and drinking it slowly while focusing on the warmth and flavor, lighting a candle and watching the flame for a few minutes, or reading a few pages of a book that always brings you peace. Having these go-to comfort practices means you don't have to figure out what might help in the moment when your thinking isn't clear. Rest is often exactly what you need during hard times, even when you feel like you should be doing something more productive. Give yourself permission to lie down, close your eyes, and simply be still for a few minutes. You don't have to fall asleep. Just allowing your body to rest can provide immediate relief. Sometimes the most revolutionary thing you can do is choose rest over pushing through when your system is asking for a break. Remember that these tools for immediate comfort aren't meant to eliminate all difficult feelings or solve complex problems. They're meant to help you feel a little more stable and grounded so you can navigate challenges from a place of greater inner resources. Even small moments of comfort can create space for your natural healing abilities to function more effectively. The voice in your head during hard days often sounds nothing like how you would speak to a dear friend who was struggling. Yet this internal voice has enormous power over how you experience difficult times and how quickly you're able to find your way back to peace. Learning to shift your inner dialogue from criticism to compassion is one of the most transformative things you can do for your emotional well-being. Most of us have an inner critic that becomes particularly active during challenging times. This voice tells us we're not handling things well enough, that we should be stronger or further along in our healing, that other people wouldn't struggle with what we're facing. This inner critic often sounds like voices from our past, parents, teachers, or other authority figures who may have been well-meaning, but whose words created patterns of self-judgment that continue long after those relationships have changed or ended. The first step in shifting your inner voice is simply noticing it. Many of us are so accustomed to our self-critical thoughts that we don't even realize how harsh we're being with ourselves. Start paying attention to the tone and content of your internal dialogue, especially during difficult moments. Would you speak to a good friend the way you speak to yourself? Would you say these things to a child who was struggling? This awareness alone can begin to create some distance between you and your automatic thought patterns. When you catch yourself being self-critical, try pausing and asking what you really need in that moment. Usually, the critical voice is trying to motivate you or protect you from further hurt, but it's using methods that actually create more suffering. Instead of berating yourself for feeling sad, you might ask, what would help you feel more supported? Instead of calling yourself weak for needing help, you might acknowledge how much courage it takes to reach out when you're struggling. Developing a compassionate inner voice takes practice, especially if criticism has been your default mode for a long time. Start by consciously choosing kinder words when you talk to yourself. Instead of, "I'm such a mess," try, "I'm going through a really difficult time right now." Instead of, "I should be over this by now," try, "Healing takes time, and I'm doing the best I can." These might feel awkward or unfamiliar at first, but with repetition, they can become your new normal. Affirmations can be powerful tools for reshaping your inner dialogue, but they work best when they feel genuine and achievable. Instead of jumping straight to, "I am strong and fearless," which might feel false when you're struggling, try starting with, "I am learning to be gentle with myself," or "I am willing to treat myself with more kindness." These smaller steps feel more believable and create a foundation for greater self-acceptance. "I am safe in this moment" can be a particularly soothing affirmation during hard days. Even when life feels chaotic, this moment, right here, right now, contains some measure of safety. You're breathing, you're aware, you're surviving whatever challenges you're facing. This affirmation helps ground you in present moment reality rather than anxious projections about the future. "I trust my ability to handle whatever comes" acknowledges your inherent resilience without minimizing current difficulties. You don't have to feel confident about everything to recognize that you've survived challenges before and have inner resources you may not even be fully aware of yet. This affirmation builds faith in your own capacity to navigate life's ups and downs. "I deserve love and kindness, especially from myself," directly addresses the self-criticism that often intensifies during hard times. Many people find it easier to extend compassion to others than to themselves, but you are equally deserving of gentle treatment. This affirmation reminds you that self-love isn't selfish. It's necessary for your well-being and for your ability to show up fully in your relationships with others. Another powerful shift in inner dialogue involves changing "I have to" statements to "I choose to" statements whenever possible. "I have to get through this" becomes "I choose to take this one step at a time." "I have to be stronger" becomes "I choose to be patient with my process." This subtle change acknowledges your personal power and reduces the sense of being victimized by circumstances. When your inner voice starts spiraling into worst-case scenarios, you can gently redirect it by asking, "What's actually happening right now?" Often our suffering comes more from imagined future disasters than from present moment reality. Bringing your attention back to what's actually occurring in this moment can provide immediate relief from anxiety and overwhelm. Creating a loving inner voice also means celebrating small victories and acknowledging your efforts, not just your results. "I got out of bed even though I felt terrible" is worth recognizing. "I asked for help when I needed it" deserves acknowledgement. "I chose a kind thought about myself" is progress worth celebrating. These moments of self-recognition accumulate over time and gradually shift your default inner dialogue toward greater self-appreciation. The goal isn't to eliminate all critical thoughts or to force constant positivity. The goal is to create balance in your inner dialogue, to have a voice of compassion available alongside any criticism, and to choose thoughts that support your well-being rather than undermine it. With practice, this compassionate inner voice becomes more natural and automatic, providing comfort and guidance during both difficult and joyful times. One of the most profound shifts that can occur during our most challenging times is discovering that our difficulties often carry hidden gifts and deeper purposes. This doesn't mean that pain is something to be grateful for or that we should minimize our struggles, but rather that even our darkest moments can become sources of wisdom, strength, and transformation that we never could have imagined when we were in the midst of them. When we're going through hard times, it's natural to focus on wanting the pain to end, to get back to feeling normal, to return to the way things were before. But sometimes life has other plans for us. Sometimes our challenges are invitations to grow in ways we didn't know we needed, to develop capacities we didn't know we had, or to discover truths about ourselves and life that can only be learned through direct experience of difficulty. Many people find that their most challenging periods become turning points that redirect their lives in more authentic and fulfilling directions. A job loss might lead to discovering work that truly feeds their soul. A relationship ending might create space for learning to love themselves more deeply. A health crisis might awaken a commitment to taking better care of their body and prioritizing what really matters. The breakdown of old patterns often precedes the breakthrough into new possibilities. Our difficulties often reveal inner strengths that were always there but remained dormant until circumstances called them forth. You might discover that you're more resilient than you thought, more creative in finding solutions, more capable of surviving uncertainty. The qualities that emerge during hard times, courage, compassion, perseverance, adaptability, become permanent additions to your character that serve you long after the immediate crisis has passed. Sometimes our struggles connect us more deeply with our authentic selves by stripping away the roles, expectations, and external validations we've been using to define ourselves. When life's usual distractions and securities are removed, we're left with who we truly are underneath all the doing and achieving. This can feel frightening at first, but it often leads to a more genuine and satisfying way of living that's based on internal truth rather than external approval. Hard times often deepen our capacity for empathy and connection with others who are suffering. When we've walked through our own valleys of difficulty, we naturally become more understanding and compassionate toward others who are struggling. Our pain becomes a bridge that connects us with the universal human experience of vulnerability and resilience. We become safe people for others to share their struggles with because they sense that we truly understand. The meaning we find in our difficulties doesn't always reveal itself immediately. Sometimes it takes months or even years to understand how a particular challenge contributed to our growth or redirected our path in beneficial ways. Trust that your current struggles are serving purposes that may not be visible yet. The caterpillar has no way of knowing that its dissolution in the cocoon is actually the process of becoming a butterfly. Many people discover that their hardest times taught them what truly matters in life. Superficial concerns fall away when we're faced with real challenges, and we gain clarity about our deepest values and priorities. This clarity often leads to significant life changes, choosing relationships that truly nourish us, pursuing work that feels meaningful, spending time on activities that feed our souls rather than just fill our schedules. Your struggles may also be preparing you to serve others in ways you haven't yet imagined. Many of the world's most effective healers, teachers, and helpers discovered their calling through their own experiences of difficulty and recovery. Your current challenges might be developing in you the very qualities and understanding that others will need you to share with them someday. Sometimes the meaning in our darkness is simply the development of a deeper relationship with ourselves. When external supports fall away, we're forced to turn inward and discover the vast resources of strength, wisdom, and love that exist within us. This self-reliance isn't about isolation or refusing help from others. It's about knowing that you carry within yourself everything you need to navigate life's challenges. The process of finding meaning doesn't require you to be grateful for your pain or to pretend that difficult experiences are blessings in disguise. It simply involves remaining open to the possibility that something worthwhile might emerge from your struggles, even if you can't see it yet. This openness creates space for growth and transformation that wouldn't be possible if you remained completely closed to any potential positive outcomes. Creating a strong support system isn't just about having people to call when things get tough. It's about building a network of resources, both internal and external, that nourish and sustain you through all of life's seasons. This support system becomes your foundation, helping you weather storms and providing the encouragement you need to keep growing and healing. Your support system begins with your relationship with yourself. Learning to be your own source of comfort, encouragement, and wise guidance is the foundation that makes all other support more effective. When you can offer yourself kindness during difficult moments, you're less likely to become desperate for others to fix your problems or validate your worth. This self-support isn't about becoming completely independent. It's about developing the inner stability that allows you to receive help from others without becoming dependent on their approval or presence. The people in your support system don't all need to serve the same function. Some friends might be wonderful listeners who help you process emotions, while others might be better at offering practical help or distracting you with humor when you need a break from heavy feelings. Some relationships provide deep emotional intimacy, while others offer companionship and shared activities. Recognizing the different gifts that various people bring to your life helps you appreciate each relationship for what it offers, rather than expecting any one person to meet all your needs. Quality matters more than quantity when it comes to supportive relationships. A few genuine connections where you can be authentically yourself are far more valuable than many superficial relationships where you feel like you need to pretend everything is fine. The people who truly support you are those who can be present with you during difficult times without trying to fix you or make your feelings go away. Professional support can be an invaluable part of your system. Therapists, counselors, coaches, and other trained helpers can offer perspectives and tools that friends and family might not be able to provide. There's no shame in seeking professional help. It's actually a sign of wisdom and self-care. These relationships can offer a safe space to explore your deepest concerns without worrying about burdening the other person or affecting your ongoing relationship with them. Your physical environment is also part of your support system. Creating spaces that feel peaceful and nurturing to you helps support your emotional well-being. This might mean keeping your living space tidy and comfortable, spending time in nature regularly, or having a special corner where you can go for quiet reflection. The places where you spend time either support your well-being or drain your energy, so paying attention to how different environments affect you is important. Spiritual practices, whatever form they take for you, can provide tremendous support during difficult times. This might involve traditional religious observances, meditation, prayer, time in nature, or simply regular moments of quiet reflection. These practices connect you with something larger than your immediate concerns and often provide comfort and perspective that's hard to find elsewhere. Creative outlets often become unexpected sources of support. Whether through writing, art, music, dance, or other forms of expression, creativity provides a way to process emotions that can't always be put into words. These activities also connect you with the part of yourself that remains vibrant and alive even during challenging times. Books, podcasts, and other educational resources can be supportive companions on your healing journey. Learning about others' experiences, discovering new perspectives, or simply having inspiring content available when you need it can make a significant difference in how you navigate difficult periods. Building a collection of resources that reliably lift your spirits or provide comfort can be like having wise friends available whenever you need them. Your support system should also include activities and practices that reliably help you feel better. This might be taking walks, listening to specific music, practicing yoga, gardening, or any activity that consistently helps you reconnect with your sense of well-being. Having a variety of these practices available means you have options when one approach doesn't feel right for a particular moment. Remember that support systems require some maintenance and reciprocity. The people who care about you also need to feel valued and appreciated. Supporting others when you're able to do so strengthens your relationships and reminds you of your own capacity to make a positive difference in someone else's life. Building your support system is an ongoing process, not a one-time task. As you grow and change, your needs for support may change too. New relationships will develop, some old ones may fade, and your understanding of what truly supports you will continue to evolve. Stay open to new sources of support while maintaining the connections and practices that consistently serve your well-being. Right now, in this very moment as you listen to these words, tomorrow is already on its way to you. And while you can't know exactly what tomorrow will bring, you can trust that it holds possibilities for relief, for healing, for unexpected moments of beauty and connection that you cannot imagine from where you sit today. This isn't naive optimism, it's a recognition of life's fundamental tendency toward renewal and growth. Your feelings right now, however heavy or difficult they may be, are not permanent states. Emotions are like weather patterns. They arise, reach their peak intensity, and then naturally begin to shift and change. The sadness you feel today will not last forever. The anxiety that seems overwhelming right now will ease. The grief that feels like it might consume you will gradually transform into something more manageable, and eventually into a tender appreciation for what you've loved and lost. This doesn't mean your problems will magically disappear overnight or that you should expect to wake up tomorrow feeling completely different. Healing happens gradually, often in ways so subtle that you don't notice the progress until you look back and realize how far you've come. Tomorrow might bring just a tiny bit more ease, a moment of genuine laughter, a glimpse of hope, or simply a good night's sleep that helps you feel a little more restored. Your capacity to feel joy hasn't been permanently damaged by whatever you're going through right now. Joy might feel impossible or even inappropriate when you're struggling, but it remains within you, waiting for the right moment to emerge again. It might start small, a moment of appreciation for a beautiful sunset, gratitude for a friend's kindness, or simply the relief of taking a deep breath. These small sparks of lightness are signs that your natural ability to experience well-being is still intact. The challenges you're facing today are teaching you things about yourself and about life that will serve you for years to come. You're developing resilience you didn't know you had, discovering inner resources you never knew existed, and learning to navigate uncertainty with greater grace. These aren't consolation prizes for your suffering. They're real capacities that will help you live more fully and authentically in the future. Tomorrow also holds the possibility of unexpected support and connection. Help might come from sources you haven't anticipated. A conversation with a stranger might provide exactly the perspective you need. A random act of kindness might restore your faith in human goodness. Sometimes the very day that feels like it might break you becomes the day when everything begins to shift in a more positive direction. The part of you that brought you here seeking comfort and guidance is the same part that will carry you through whatever comes next. Your willingness to reach out, to seek understanding, to believe that things can get better. These are signs of the life force within you that no difficult circumstance can extinguish. This essential part of you remains intact regardless of what you're going through. Trust that your healing journey is unfolding exactly as it needs to, even when it doesn't feel that way. Some days you'll feel like you're making progress, and other days you might feel like you're back at the beginning. This isn't actually moving backward, it's the natural rhythm of growth and integration. Tomorrow might be one of the days when you suddenly realize how much stronger you've become. Your future self, the person you'll be after you've navigated through this difficult time, is already grateful for the courage you're showing today. That future self knows things about resilience and inner strength that you're just beginning to discover. They want you to know that every day you choose to keep going, every moment you treat yourself with kindness, every time you reach out for support, you're building the foundation for a life of greater wisdom, compassion, and authentic joy. The sun will rise tomorrow, literally and metaphorically. Life will continue to offer you moments of beauty, connection, and meaning alongside whatever challenges remain. Your story isn't over. This difficult chapter is preparing you for chapters you can't yet imagine, filled with experiences and relationships and opportunities that will make all of your current struggles feel worthwhile. As you prepare to move forward from this time together, carry with you the knowing that you have everything within you to create positive change in your life. The journey ahead won't always be easy, but it doesn't have to be traveled alone, and it doesn't have to be traveled without hope. You have choices available to you in every moment, starting with the choice to treat yourself with the same compassion you would offer to someone you love dearly. Your path forward begins with very small steps. You don't need to transform your entire life overnight or solve every problem at once. Choose one small thing you can do today to show yourself kindness. It might be taking a few conscious breaths, going to bed a little earlier, reaching out to someone who cares about you, or simply speaking to yourself more gently. These small acts of self-care accumulate over time and create momentum toward greater well-being. Remember that asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. Whether that help comes from friends, family, professionals, or spiritual sources, you don't have to figure everything out by yourself. There are people in this world who want to support you, and there are resources available to help you navigate whatever you're facing. Your willingness to receive support is actually a gift to others, allowing them to express their caring and to feel useful in your life. Practice the affirmations that resonated with you during our time together. Let them become gentle companions in your daily life. I am safe in this moment. I trust my ability to handle whatever comes. I deserve love and kindness, especially from myself. These aren't just nice words. They're tools for rewiring your internal dialogue and creating more supportive thought patterns. Pay attention to what your body needs and honor those needs whenever possible. Rest when you're tired, move when you feel restless, eat foods that nourish you, and create physical comfort for yourself. Your body is your ally in healing, and treating it with care sends a powerful message to your entire system that you're worthy of good treatment. Stay curious about your experience rather than judgmental. When difficult emotions arise, try asking, "What might this feeling be trying to tell me?" Or, "What do I need right now?" Instead of criticizing yourself for having the feeling. This curiosity creates space for learning and growth that judgment never allows. Look for small signs of progress and celebrate them when you notice them. Maybe you slept a little better one night, or you caught yourself being self-critical and chose a kinder thought instead, or you felt a moment of genuine contentment while doing something simple. These moments matter more than you might realize. They're evidence that positive change is happening even when it doesn't feel dramatic. Trust the timing of your healing process. Some days will feel like big breakthrough days, and others will feel like you're barely maintaining. Both types of days are necessary parts of your journey. Healing isn't linear, and there's no standard timeline for feeling better. Your process is uniquely yours, and it's unfolding at exactly the pace that's right for you. Most importantly, remember that you are inherently worthy of love, happiness, and peace, not because of what you accomplish or how well you handle challenges, but simply because you exist. Your worth isn't determined by your productivity, your strength, or your ability to make others comfortable with your struggles. You matter exactly as you are right now, in this moment. As we close our time together, take a moment to place your hand on your heart and feel it beating steadily in your chest. This heart has carried you through every single day of your life so far, including all the difficult ones. It will continue to carry you forward one beat at a time toward brighter days ahead. You're going to be okay, beautiful soul. More than okay. You're going to discover just how strong, wise, and resilient you truly are. And I believe in you completely.